What's going on, Average Tech Guy here, and today we are back, and apparently a lot of y'all are still bending y'all's iPads. Like, I get comments all the time about what's the best case for not bending, what's gonna stop my iPad from bending. I'm like, how are you bending your tablet? Well, if you do have that issue and you're afraid that your tablet may bend or break while it's in the casing that you have, today I'm gonna be showing you 5 cases that will never bend your iPad. So let's check them out. So first and foremost, a lot of people say, hey, you didn't bend the actual cases in your video, in your previous video where you talked about cases that would not bend your iPad. And that is true. I did not bend those cases because, for the simple fact that all of these cases, I am a grown man. Just to let you know, I'm a grown man. I can bend every last one of these cases. I can actually bend this case to break it if I wanted to. Like, I could fold it over if I wanted to. These cases cost a lot of money. I'm not gonna fold this thing over, but I will show you it does give a little bit, and I don't want to mess my case up. This is probably one of my favorite cases in the bunch, but they will bend if you put a lot of pressure on them, just to let you know. Now, look at that. You can bend that, you can shape that, but in everyday situations, putting this in a bag, taking this out of bag, this one, Otterbox Symmetry, putting it in a bag, taking it out of bag, putting it in the bag and putting books in it, it's not going to bend your iPad. And this one probably is the only one out of the bunch that I just cannot fold over, which I probably could if I really put some muscle into it. I could fold it over. Now that I've picked them up, moved them around a little bit, and this one is not gonna bend. This is probably the number one non-bending. But now that we talked about them, let me show you the cases on the iPad, and we'll talk a little bit further. So actually, one of my favorite cases in the bunch, this is the Zugu Alpha. Now, this is the newer version, the one that came out a few months ago with different colors. They have red, blue, purple, this executive leather brown color. I want you to go by and check them out. I'm going to drop that link below so you can do that. But this thing is pretty much a beast, and they are pliable with the iPad out, but once you put the iPad in, this thing is really sturdy, really thick, really tough, and it's not gonna bend under pressure. Now, am I saying that you can't break this? No, it can still break in here, it can still bend in here, but it's gonna require a lot of force, a lot of pressure for any of that to happen. And I'm talking about unusual, very unusual circumstances in order for this thing to break. One of the most protective out there, the Zugu Alpha. So an actual tank of a case, this is the Unicorn Beetle Pro. Now, notice we still got the kickstand on the back, which is iconic for the Unicorn Beetle, and hard backing. This thing is, like I said, just that. It's a tank. It's gonna absorb impact. It's gonna basically be shock proof, damage proof. It has a screen in the front of it. It's super protective. This thing will not bend once your iPad is put in there. And that's the thing behind most of these cases. Once you put the iPad in there, the ability to bend it and mold it and shape it kind of just goes away. Like, you're going to put this in your backpack. You're going to not sit on your backpack. You're not going to toss your backpack. But you're going to just do everyday things. And this case will protect your iPad. Next up is the Magic Keyboard. Now, Magic Keyboard is extremely durable, extremely tough. It is not going to allow your iPad to bend. And for 350 bucks, your iPad should not bend behind this thing. But it's very durable. It's very sturdy. This thing doesn't bend at all. And like I said, out of all of them, and I know that you're gonna say, oh, that's not a traditional case, it's just a keyboard, but it is really a case because it protects. Out of all the other cases, this thing is going to be the one that is basically never going to bend. Now, like I said, the rest of them, you can bend them, you can mold them, you can shape them outside with the iPad out of it. But this one, even if you put a lot of force and pressure into it, it's still not gonna bend. So this is probably the one that I will say will never ever bend with your iPad in here. So this is the Otterbox Symmetry series. Now, I don't know if you guys have been with my channel for a long time or if you've been with me a short time. I thank you either way, but this type of case, this style of case with this plastic backing, this clear plastic backing, was the first case that I picked up for my iPad Pro 11. Now, this case does not bend, does not break. It is supposed to be scratch resistant. It does scratch and scuff on the back. Just keep that in mind. But it does not break. It will not shatter your iPad. I've dropped my iPad in this before. No issues. I've put this in my backpack. No issues. It's a great all-around case. And it's one of those ones that is not going to allow your iPad to bend. And last but not least, probably one of the most versatile carries. This is the TomTalk Portfolio carry. Now, this thing has a handle on it, and you can hear extremely hard on the outside, soft, plush on the inside. You actually have room to store pens, pencils, accessories, and you've seen my review before. Nice and soft back here. iPad just drops down in here. Now, we know the iPad goes in. But what a lot of people had questions on this about was if you can put the Magic Keyboard in here with the iPad. Now, like I said, this thing is hard on the outside. It's not going to allow your iPad to bend. But when you actually take this device and you couple it with this case, let's see what happens. And there you go. So the Magic Keyboard will go down in here. It will fit. It's nice, it's snug, it's secure. You have 1, 2 layers of protection for that iPad. And at this point, this thing will never bend. So there we go. These 5 cases are probably some of your best choices in order not to actually bend that iPad. And the 2 that you are going to have that I can definitely say you will never bend your iPad in is number 1 right here was the Magic Keyboard, and number 2 over here, which is the TomTalk Portfolio. You're not gonna ever bend your iPad behind these 2 cases. Now, disclaimer, you can actually take any of these cases and bend them at any given time. You put enough strength into it, you can bend these cases, yes. Once you add the iPad, they become stiff, they become rigid, and they become extremely hard to bend this product. I didn't know so many people were still having issues with their iPad bending, but hopefully this video has been able to help someone out. I'm going to drop links to each and every one of these cases below, and you can still check my channel out because I have videos on each one of these, and I'll see if I can put those below as well so you can check them out for yourself. Until next time, be sure to give me that big thumbs up, and please continue to subscribe. Average Tech Guy out. Peace.